Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have some new information coming out about Gina Carano and that she got herself fired from Lucasfilm. This can't be right. Everyone's been beating their chest over her being innocent, her just being persecuted for being a conservative. But when you look into it, it's actually a little bit more than that. We're going to be breaking all that down right now. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Matt Jarbo here with $3 Theater. And I know this is going to get me no friends, as always, when I talk about Gina Carano. And I say, first things off the bat, I don't want her fired. Okay? Let me just, for the people in the cheap seats who can't seem to understand that concept, I don't think she should have been fired. But at the same time, now we're learning that she did it to herself, that this is self-immolation and stupidity. Is, I think, the best way to describe it. A lot of it is very much stupidity. And Gina, in my mind, in my opinion, got super effing stubborn. And she screwed herself, to be honest with you. And she kind of admitted to it to an extent. We're going to be reading between the lines the best that we can here on the show. Of course, I do want to hear what you guys are thinking about this one and what you guys have to say. The responses should be interesting. I've already seen the like and dislike ratio. Some people are coming in thinking that I'm attacking her. But no, we're going to point out that she's done some stupid things. And that's something that we have to discuss here because this is no one's fault but Gina Carano's herself. So let's go to the heart of the issue. And that's actually this interview that she did with conservative writer Bari Weiss. And yes, I don't care what anyone says. I have nothing against Bari Weiss, but she's a conservative, 100%. And so that's my opinion. And so she sat down with Gina and she penned this article called Gina Carano and Crowdsourced McCarthyism, talking with the Star Wars actress about a cancellation and a meme. Now, what you have to keep in mind, what you have to understand about this is that there was confusion in regards to the type of content Gina should be deleting. Because she clearly doesn't pay attention to what she posts on the internet. And that is actually it's a defense. It's a good defense. The I didn't know defense is fantastic. At this point, hold on to that for dear life. Don't let it go. Claim stupidity, claim ignorance, do that, which is what she should do. And the truth of the matter is she probably won't, because now she's some right-wing darling for the moment. She's the flavor of the month. Like I said, until the carcass goes cold, she's going to be what everyone is gobbling up on. So there's a lot here that, Bari talks about. I just want to get in through the thing. So it says here that Carano, a former MMA fighter and actress, plays a bounty hunter Cara Dune on the series, or did, until Lucasfilm announced that she was fired, and UTA, her agency, dropped her shortly thereafter. Now, the framing of this is that she screwed up or that she said some stuff and that it just kind of happened all at once. This is a slow burn situation. This is not a quick to react situation. This is one that has taken place literally since September of last year. That is why when we talk about this being her own fault, she was very aware of what she was doing, but she simply didn't care, which goes along with my own theory I put out last week 2 weeks ago now, about how Gina herself wanted to get fired. I'm like, Gina Carano wants to get fired from The Mandalorian. Little did I know that she was probably already fired, and I was just picking up on what she was laying down. So this is where Bari does a horrible disservice to the situation and frames the argument away from any kind of actual accountability or responsibility for what Gina says. Oh, what did Carano do? Her sin is her politics. She's a conservative. That's not even the case. And that is such a dismissive way of approaching it. It is a terrible way of approaching it because it is not the case. Going on to say here, among her views expressed via social media, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, and pronouns and bios are worthy of mockery. And again, she's kind of minimizing this situation, but it all goes back to that situation, to be honest with you. And also, she's the rare celebrity that has a Parler account, right? Again, Where is the description of that? Where is the further information? So here's a further information on that. When she started getting too much heat following the election, and she was out there pushing voter fraud conspiracies, which, by the way, for my conservative viewers, the only voter fraud that was discovered, let's say in the state of Georgia, were 2 counts of Republicans voting dead people for Trump. So there you go. No widespread voter fraud. It's been debunked on multiple occasions. It's been investigated on multiple occasions. Nothing's been proven. Nothing. So you can stop trying to make those claims in the comments or my email or whatever. You're wrong. You're wrong. But she took that stuff and she took it to Parler, because that's where this kind of rhetoric is entertained. And it's not only that, but it's promoted and it's applauded and it is spread like a cancerous case of herpes across that terrible outlet, which is now back, by the way. So if you're looking for some funny takes, you're going to see a lot of them on Twitter. But anyway, she's very much minimizing the Parler account and why she went to Parler. Now she goes on to say, you get the drift. If you ever ventured beyond the bounds of MSNBC or have a single right of center friend, none of this is surprising. Again, that's not true. I have tons of right wing, like hardcore Trump supporter friends. It's not even the issue here. Again, it's such a framing. It's a framing argument as a way to try to push her away from any kind of responsibility, right? It's not about what she says. It's about her politics. It's not, no, F you. You can have your politics. There are some things maybe you should just shut the F up about. Maybe that's the thing. Don't actually say stupid crap and you won't get in trouble. And I know this because I've said stupid crap and I've gotten in trouble. Now, the actress, like some of our aunts and uncles, can be a bit trollish online and has posted some stupid memes. The one that led to her firing was a TikTok post that she shared that compared the U.S. to Nazi Germany. Again, look at the framing of the argument here. The framing of the defense, right? This is the framing of, well, no. I mean, your aunts and your uncles, they post memes on Facebook and they post memes on Twitter. Some might use TikTok, and that's all it is. It's just memes. It's just memes. Never mind 2016 and that whole interference thing. That's a whole other topic, though. Anyway, so this is the meme. We all know the meme here. She's comparing being a conservative in 2021 America to that of being a Jew in 1930s Nazi Germany. And you wonder why people called it anti-Semitic. Now, like I said, her entire defense here is one of stupidity. Okay. Her entire defense here, and this is what even Bari's saying, and what even like Ben Shapiro was saying in their defense, even though, look, to Ben Shapiro, coupon code Gina, 25% off your Daily Wire subscription. So let me just also kind of quickly chime in on that one. So yeah, they hired her to, to do a movie, to star and to produce a movie over there for the Daily Wire. That's only going to be on their website. That's not going to come out for, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years. So that monthly membership that you're getting 25% off of is going to go to fund people like Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and all the other right-wing chuckle fucks over there at the Daily Wire. So if you are not a hardcore right-wing conservative, you giving money with coupon code Gina for 25% off because they've turned her into nothing more than a coupon, or a coupon if you are a QAnon, which I think she kind of falls somewhere in that Venn diagram. That's all she is. She's being used by people to capitalize on the outrage in order to turn a buck. Now you could also go, but Matt, aren't you talking about her? Isn't this video monetized? And the answer is yeah, but I'm also going to explain it from more of an Occam's razor, simplest explanation, often being the most truest perspective. And that's my approach to it. But I'm not trying to use her as a coupon to sell you Patreon subscriptions to my channel. And even Bari here says it's a good rule of thumb to avoid comparing America to 1930s Germany, your political opponents to Nazis, and yourself and your allies to Jews. What Carano wrote, or likely repeated and shared, was wrong because the Holocaust is a singular evil. Exactly. Notice the defense. The defense is she dumb. That's the defense. That's what they're doing. That's what they're saying. She dumb. That's it. That's all it is. She didn't know what she was saying. She didn't know what she was doing. She simply just reposted something without knowing the historical context to it. Which is probably true. To be fair, it's probably very, very, very true. Now, and of course, talking here about Pedro Pascal, and Pedro Pascal had tweeted out something very similar. Difference, though, again, because context actually matters, referring to children locked up in 1944 concentration camps in Germany and Poland and all over that area, to children actually being locked in cages. Now, I do know that the image here is not of kids from Mexico at detention centers here in the United States. I get that. I understand that. But the context is that this is happening, that we have children separated from their families at the border, put into detention centers, which case under the previous administration, we lost like 625 kids that don't know where their parents are. Like, the ineptitude of the previous administration when handling the immigration situation has been so fundamentally blundered that this is effectively what Pedro is saying. The context is there. But again, the people that are just trying to go, but wait a minute, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to pull this Soviet propaganda whataboutism nonsense left and right, and it doesn't fucking apply. It doesn't apply to any of this. What he is saying is a true thing, is a true comparison. What she's saying is, well, being a conservative in 2021 America is like being a Jew in 1935 freaking Warsaw. No, not the same thing. Conservatives are not rounded up and put into FEMA camps. To make that comparison is the stupidest shit. I'm not saying she did it on purpose. I'm not saying she's an anti-Semite. I've said that multiple times. I think it's ridiculous and it's absolutely dumb to make these claims. But anyway, let's go on. Now, she talks a bit more about Luke, whatever, and Shapiro, and she tries to offer this kind of, this thing. Here, I'm supposed to offer the throat clearing about how Ben and I disagree on gay marriage and abortion, right? Okay, because she doesn't want to have that argument come back in her face, which I get. I get that, Bart. I get that. Now, so she then goes on, to talk with her about this. Okay, so this is what apparently people were like, Gina wasn't too sure about. This is where we get into a little bit of a weird thing. She's talking about this image that Gina shared right here. All we have to do is stand up and the little game is over. And this particular image does have some very interesting history. This is a modification of that to an extent. And that's kind of what ends up being like, being viewed as somewhat anti-Semitic, because the meme bears a striking resemblance to an infamous East London mural called The Freedom for Humanity that Jeremy Corbyn defended from destruction. The faces in the original mural are different, hooked nose, and more obviously the derogatory stereotype of Jewish faces. So this is meant to be a take on this, which again, she didn't know what she was saying, and that's kind of her defense here. That's what she's basically saying here. Okay, so at this point, she reached out to Carano for answers. Good, let's find out more. Now, what I asked was, what was her intention when she shared that image? Did she know that it drew on anti-Semitic images and imagery? Now, this is where you start realizing that Gina Carano doesn't know what the F is going on, like, period. She says, I was in utter shock and confusion when certain people said it was anti-Semitic. Then, as I went to take it down, I noticed that the image was not the same one people were referencing. I was honestly confused. Should I take it down or should I leave it up? I still don't know the answer to that question because taking it down only makes the mob attack you more. So what we're talking about here is this is the image that she thought she should take down. And this is the image that people were mad about. So she didn't even know which piece of propaganda that she had posted was causing the issues. She did not know what propaganda piece was causing problems. What does that tell you about the type of stuff she was posting and the frequency of which she was posting a lot of this QAnon adjacent nonsense? Because this is the whole thing. This is like every conservative family member you have on Facebook. And I want you to go and look. All right, go find your most conservative family member on Facebook or Instagram and look to see when they post memes. And you'll look to see that they don't actually offer any context to what they're saying. They don't offer any kind of backup to their opinion. What they're actually doing is just simply reposting something. That's it. No commentary. And when you question them on it, when you go, well, hey, what about this? They freak out because they actually don't know what they're talking about. They're simply ruling from emotion. That's what they're doing. That is what's happening here. And it's hysterical and it's sad because you would like people to be a bit more, I don't know, like have a bit more information with what they're saying. So she goes on to talk more about that second image. Says the image for me was a statement that people need to stand together and rise up, stop being so manipulated by the powers that believe that they know what's best for you and they play games with our lives. My heart has only had the ultimate respect and love for the Jewish community. Because she's not anti-Semitic, but she's posting stuff that is bathed in anti-Semitism, and she doesn't realize that because it speaks to her inherent political belief, which is why the two in a Venn diagram cross over more often than not. And it's something you have to be very careful for. Something to be very, very, very careful for. Now, Ben, of course, here, Ben Shapiro says, Gina isn't anti-Semitic, period. The meme is being resurfaced as a post-facto justification for an unjustification cancellation. Gina wasn't aware of the origins of the original picture and was devastated to hear about it, just as she had been devastated by the absurd and bad faith connection that she is anti-Semitic in any way. Oh, I'm sorry. Are people confused by the anti-Semitic memes that you're posting about what your intent is when you don't offer any kind of actual follow-up as to your thought process for resharing something along those lines? I mean, you can sit there and go, well, my intent was this, but when you don't offer that intent in your initial posting, it's a backtrack. It's trying to defend, and you can see that there's levels of defense here. Now, Ben is defending at this point in time a financial interest. He is defending a financial investment. Remember what I talked about? Coupon code Gina, 25% off Daily Wire subscriptions on the website. So he's protecting his financial investment. That's what it is. Now, this is what they talk about when they talk about the whole pronoun thing that I brought up in the opening image, right? So this one here. So this Gina Carano bop or boop bop beep, right? That's the one. That's the one I brought up. And so what we have here is a situation again. So she's like talking about that, right? So what she says is early on last year before The Mandalorian came out, they wanted me to use their exact wording for an apology over the pronoun usage. I declined and offered a statement in my own words. I made it clear I wanted nothing to do with mocking the transgender community and was just drawing to the attention to the abuse of the mob and forcing people to put pronouns in their bio. No one is forcing you to put pronouns in your bio. No one, not a soul, not a person. If they are mad at you for mocking pronouns in bios, that's a completely separate issue. No one, and this is the thing, someone to me today said, oh, she's upset because Disney was forcing her to put pronouns. No one was forcing her to put pronouns in her bio. Not one person. So, but she doesn't she's talking about these things and she's misinterpreting these things. And we can see that this is the kind of stuff that gets echoed in her social media posts where she's not thinking it through. Now, there have been, I don't want to go too deep into it, but I have heard some people bring up the question about whether or not she has CTE from all of the fights, because that kind of stuff can actually happen to you. We've seen it with people in professional football where they have CTE, where they have actual brain damage from getting into these physical altercations constantly. So I don't know, but I don't want to think that it's that, but I've seen that stuff brought up too. Now, look, I brought up here the tweets in question, where she was apologizing. This is her statement, where she says, they're mad because I won't put pronouns in my bio to show my support for trans lives. After months of harassing me in every way, I decided to put 3 very controversial words in my bio: beep, bop, boop. I'm not against trans lives at all. They need to find less abusive representation. I don't think trans people would like all of you trying to force a woman to put something in her bio through harassment and name calling every day for months, such as racist, transphobe, bitch, weirdo, I hope you die, hope you lose your career, you're fat, you're ugly. And I mean, look, and I don't support any of that kind of behavior or any of that kind of harassment, but the reality of it is she ticked off a group of people, and instead of just ignoring them and going about her business, being the millionaire Hollywood actress on the biggest show in the world, The Mandalorian, that she is, she got frustrated and she decided to act stupidly. So Disney was like, listen, you need to say something here. You need to apologize here. You absolutely need to say something. And here we prepared it for you. We'll make it easy for you. Disney is all about, look, this was September, by the way. So this was before The Mandalorian season 2, which was in early October. This is leading into that big ass season. They're like, we don't want there to be any F-ups when it comes to the marketing. Just say this, be done with it, and watch your shit. That's about it. But apparently that was too much for Gina to do, too much for her to do to protect her career. It's fascinating to watch, to be honest with you, because it's like the easiest thing. Now, I know there are people that are going to sit there and go, but should she deny being herself? Should she not be true to herself and her own ideals? The thing is, you can have whatever opinion you want, but it's still entirely up to you, whatever the hell you post on social media. You should maybe not do that when it's pissing off, like it's causing controversy before your show comes back. Maybe. Good idea, perhaps. I don't know. Just somebody wasn't giving her proper advice. And it's like, well, now we are where we are. Lucasfilm's response here was to exclude her from all press and promotion from the show, at least according to Carano. Like that one, I think that one image where was it the New Zealand or Australian artist removed her from it and said that Disney requested it. Lucasfilm's response was to exclude her, and she says that was heartbreaking, but I didn't want to take away from the hard work of everyone who worked on the project, so I said okay. That was the last time I was contacted about any type of public statement or apology from Lucasfilm. I found out through social media, like everybody else, that I had been fired. So there's a break in a timeline there, which is one of the things I don't believe. When she says here, that was the last time they contacted me about anything, that to me says they'd already decided to like write her off the show. Because she was supposed to get her own show. That was the rumor. The Rangers of the New Republic was supposed to be a Cara Dune show. That was the rumor. We heard about this stuff for a while. This was what was supposed to be going down. This is the whole point. And then she kept doubling down and doubling down and doubling down and doubling down until she finally moved through anti-mask nonsense and voter fraud nonsense to posting stuff that is coming in from people who probably do share far-right anti-Semitic beliefs, and her going like, I kind of co-sign that particular whatever, not knowing anything about it and resharing it. Now, look, it's an accident. In many cases, those kind of things are accidents. That's a fair assessment. All right. That's a fair assessment. In most of the cases, that's what it boils down to. But this is something that's a little bit different because it's like she kept doing it. She even said before in this interview, I don't know which image they wanted me to take down. I mean, like, what's going on here? Oh my God. And then, Gina Carano got fired. And then we have, all of the whataboutisms that Barry is doing. Well, what about Ice Cube? What about John Cusack? What about this? What about that? Blah, 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 blah. They don't work for Disney. They don't work for Disney. Now, I have seen people bring up today the Victor Salva situation, which he was the writer and director on Powder, 1995 film starring Sean Patrick Flannery. And back in 1988, when he was working on a movie called Clown House, I believe, or Clown Town, he sexually assaulted a 12-year-old boy and he spent 3 years in prison. The dude, pedophile, should have never worked for Disney. Disney found out about it while they were into production. He had already served his time. They said no children on set, and that's where they left it. And I don't agree with that, period. That was also under a different regime 26 years ago. So it's not like over that now because it came out in 95. They shot it in 94. All I'm saying here is like we have to take it case by case basis. But people want to bring out the whataboutism because the whataboutism is the only defense that they've got. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? What about this? Where Gina just even recently was liking the Bradford file here. Says here, America doesn't have a systemic racism problem. America has a violent leftist extremist problem. Saying here, you are more likely to be assaulted for being a Trump supporter than your race in America today. This kind of stuff that is going to look bad even on to Disney or to anyone else. It's like, come on. That's not true at all. We know it's not true. But again, it's that victimization that's happening. And I do think that in regards to there being a vocal minority of people out there, they've been giving Gina every single time something like this comes up. They've just been in her ear going like, it's not you. It's not you. You're the victim. They hate you. They despise you because you're conservative. Come on my live stream, Gina. Come be with me, Gina. Come do this with us, Gina. We'll protect you. We're going to be the cheerleaders for you. And they keep telling her that. And because you can tell that she's stubborn, it's going to be like any port in a storm. It's going to be like any port in a storm. That's what you're seeing out of this right here. But I did want to quickly go back before we get into a couple comments and then we'll close it out. This is what Lucasfilm said, because I think it's important. The wording here is important because Gina said that she found out that she was fired through social media like everybody else. And I don't believe that. I just don't believe that, because this is what they said. Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm and there's no plan for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. So, she is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there's no plan for her to be in the future. What does that mean? Well, in Hollywood terms, that means her contract was up. Her contract simply did not get renewed. That's my take on it, at least. If she provides more information that counters that, I would love to hear it. But that's it. They were working on Mandalorian season 3. They were working on Rangers of the New Republic, or maybe the Cara Dune show, Ahsoka. You know, all these other shows that are going to tie into a larger event that she was going to be a central part of, because she was a central part of the show. You could argue she was the female lead of the show, even though she only showed up in a grand total of, I think, 8 episodes, not even 8 episodes, like 7 episodes total. She came in halfway through each season. And that was it. They decided to not renew her, because if you remember when they talked about the Disney Investor Day from a while ago, that they had said that she was going to have her own show. That was the rumor. And then because of her social media posts dating back to September, that they opted to pull that and repurpose the show as Rangers of the New Republic. Because during the season, they established her as a Ranger of the New Republic, and it would have been her own thing. And they probably were hoping that she was just going to stop talking and let this whole thing pass over and then move on with her life and then come back into the fold. Disney's not above, bringing people back in, but they've got to be able to get around some of this crap. And unfortunately, Gina, for whatever reason, she had opted to absolutely just crater her own career. She cratered it. I don't know why. I don't get it. Is it a money thing? Is it just you don't want to have a 9-to-5 job? You just want to go back to fighting? I mean, like, you've been acting since 2011 in Haywire, and people know you. You're a household name, probably more for The Mandalorian than even MMA fighting, or maybe being in Fast and Furious 6 or other places like that. People know who you are and they like you, and people were cheering for you, but something clearly couldn't stop her from expressing herself in a way that was going to be damaging to her career, and a company in a right to work state that said, you know what, we tried, we gave you an apology, we gave you an out, we tried working with you, you chose to not do it, and this is where you are. And there are people out there that are just vehemently defending her, like, Disney is trash, Disney is terrible, this is all Disney's fault. No, it's not Disney's fault. You can trace it back. Disney didn't force her to tweet. They didn't force her to tweet. They didn't force her to retweet. They didn't force her over to Parler. They didn't force her back over to Instagram when Parler went down. They didn't force her to do any of the things that she did. They, as a privately owned company, well, publicly owned company, but a private company here in the world, the biggest entertainment media company in the world, has every right to defend themselves and to protect themselves from almost like what you could call a rogue employee. And if they talked to Pedro over his posts, he backed the F off afterward, because he at least has the foresight and the understanding to get business. This is an issue of Gina Carano being fired because, yeah, she was a bad employee on social media. And when warned repeatedly, according to John Campea, who does have intel into Lucasfilm and that camp over there, this is what he heard, and I believe him. And as bad as it is, as much as I want Gina to come back, I don't want Cara Dune recast. I don't want Cara Dune killed off. I would love it to be Gina. There's got to be, at some point, some person close to her that sits her down and says, you done fucked up. Now find a way to fix it. And signing up with Ben Shapiro to do a movie over there that's only going to be seen by far-right idiots is not going to be the way to do it. It's terrible. It's terrible. This shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. You know what? She's not like, God damn. Anyway, let's see what you guys have to say about this. Sid Saurus Rex here says, I truly don't think there's a big enough market for a conservative streaming service if we're thinking big picture. There's not. Now, conservative Christian streaming, 100%. 100%. Conservative streaming without there being a religious bent? Nah, not at all. Lewis here says, look what happened to Parler. Good God, it's gone. It's actually back. Came back yesterday. Now, Kelohi, I looked into this a bit too, the Uyghurs situation out there in China and that province and the concentration camps. And yeah, that's a big mess up. I can only assume that because they worked with, according to what I read, Disney's production company had worked with 4 propaganda outfits in China to get permission to film out there because they're very crazy. It's entirely possible that they just did not show them anything. They kept them away from those camps. So there are people there didn't know. I find that hard to believe. But that is, that's like a one of the only ways I can figure it out. Let's see here. Okay, let me take a quick look. All right. Garrick here says, all the people in the fandom menace are acting like Gina Carano did nothing. I know they are, because here's the thing is like, I was, Drunk 3PO was going like, Gina Carano won, and had like 2,000 people watching him. And he's just counting super chats the whole time. It's like, she didn't win anything. This is not a watershed moment. Her going to the Daily Wire to become a coupon is not a watershed moment. That's the whole point. At no point in time is anything that's happening with Gina over there going to be something that's going to move the conservative movement forward. She's literally being used as a coupon code to get people to subscribe to Ben Shapiro's crappy ass website. She's a prop. She's literally sold out to become a prop. Doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you, but that's the reality of it. Kathy Griffin was fired, but she's been able to make her way back. That's true. Let's see here. Disney rehired James Gunn. Why not Gina? Okay. So that's actually a good point. So James Gunn's tweets, the ones that were brought out by far right-wing provocateurs who didn't actually care about him being fired, by the way. Not one bit did they ever care about him being fired. It was simply just a tit for tat. That's all it was. It was a salvo fired off as a way to force Disney to act, which is true. And they'll basically admit it at this point because it's been 3 years. Those tweets were from 2012, like up to 2012. They were bad. They were stupid. He admitted that. He actually, in a profile from Variety back in 2017, before the release of Guardians 2, those kind of tweets came up because they talked about his past and how he felt at the time. And that's the whole point, is he addressed that he was not in the best place and he was acting out. And that was bad, and that's not who he is anymore. He said this a full year and 3 months before those things came out and he got fired. So there's a reason why they brought him back. Everyone stood up and defended James Gunn from across the board. No one would touch Guardians of the Galaxy 3. No one wanted to even remotely attempt it. The cast came out and defended him. Disney let him go for a little while, and then they brought him back in. They could do the same with Gina, but I don't think she wants it. I think she would rather be in this little niche bubble where she is like the king of the echo chamber, the queen of the echo chamber, rather than actually getting her career back on track, because eventually your star fades and eventually people stop caring. And that's where Gina's going to be at this point in time. Let's see here. Resident Justice says Cara Dune recast incoming. She's not coming back according to Hollywood Reporter. Well, yeah, at this point she probably won't be. They're not going to recast her. Just give a new character. I will be upset if they recast her. I will come out and say shit if they recast her. Kevin here says you can't blame Disney. I agree. Let's see here. Okay. Gina Carano and Ben Shapiro and Red State Avengers. Someone needs to make a spoof trailer. 100%. That'd be pretty funny. Cam here says she's not going to make it in Hollywood, being this stubborn and refusing to compromise. Yeah, I know. But right now she's got so many people that are simping for her, that are propping her up. She doesn't have to. Dan the Man here says Gina would rather be a martyr. That's absolutely true. Shiftygism says Rosario Dawson's situation was clearly a situation where a former employee was looking for a payoff. I actually agree with you on that one after reading into it. And even again, people wanted Rosario Dawson fired off of Mandalorian when they found out she was cast as Ahsoka because of that issue. She came out, she addressed it, she talked about it, she told her side of the story, and it all went the F away. So if Gina wants this whole thing to go away, then come out and actually like talk to people about it and address these issues rather than just running off to an echo. She hasn't tweeted in days from what I can tell. I'm also blocked, but I haven't seen anything circulating around. Let's see. Christopher here says, I hear Bill Burr's character is the replacement for Cara Dune. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I was looking on some Fandom Menace accounts this morning to see what they were saying. And Jesse Milestone's like, oh, they're going to replace Gina Carano with a white man. Yeah. Yeah, they are. It's Bill Burr. So you know what? Eat it. Oh, she's being recast. When did you tag me in that? Did that happen today? I don't see everything. Did you DM it to me? Hold on here. Let me take a look. When did you tag me in that? I didn't see that. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, 19 minutes ago. Oh, okay. All right. We'll take a quick look through this and then I gotta go, but, okay. Hollywood Reporter behind the firing of Mandalorian Star Gina. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. I do like this image of that. It's pretty cute. All right. So the ouster of Carano from the show draws the ire from the political right wing and marks an inflection point for Lucasfilm, whose star was warned repeatedly about her social posts. Okay. In a plot twist that no studio relishes, one of its high-profile stars sparked outrage with a controversial social media post on February 10th. The Mandalorian's Gina Carano became the latest member of the Disney fold to do so, joining a list that includes Roseanne Barr, James Gunn, Letitia Wright, and Lou Yiffey, each drawing varying degrees of action or inaction from the studio. And no studio faces greater scrutiny over its decisions than Disney, that's true. In Carano's case, the move to cut ties has been brewing for some time. In the months leading up to the Disney Investor Day presentation on December 10th, Carano's agents at UTA were negotiating for the actress to receive a sizable bump for the planned spin-off of The Mandalorian that was going to star Cara Dune. The actress, who sources say made about $25,000 to $50,000 per episode of The Mandalorian, was posed to be touted during the presentation, in which Kathleen Kennedy announced 10 new Star Wars shows, including Rangers of the New Republic, a series that did seem tailor-made for Carano, and I was just talking about that too. But Carano was nowhere to be found during the lengthy presentation. In the lead-up, Carano had become a lightning rod among Star Wars fans and a headache for Lucasfilm after a series of tweets in which she mocked mask-wearing, suggested voter fraud occurred during the 2020 election, and shared posts that some viewed as transphobic. She was originally in that presentation when they announced all those things, and they pulled her off of it. Wow, that is not good. 2 months later, the deal for her spinoff is dead, and as is her relationship with Lucasfilm and UTA, both of whom dropped her after she shared a post suggesting that being a Republican today is akin to being Jewish in the time leading up to the Holocaust. Disney declined to comment beyond Lucasfilm's initial statement, describing her post as abhorrent. Still, Disney's decision to show Carano the door has prompted cries from the right, including Ted Cruz and Ben Shapiro, that the studio acts when the left is upset. Paired with the events in 2018, when the then ABC president Channing Dungey called out as abhorrent for a tweet from a Trump supporter, Roseanne. Okay, we know about the Roseanne Barr thing. Okay, so all right. So it says here, I don't know what people at Disney personally believe or don't believe in with regard to politics, but as a corporate entity, they want it to stay as trouble-free as possible. And anything that's going to offend the left is a problem. This coming in from Crisis PR rep Judah Engelmeyer, saying, I have clients who are making an extraordinary effort to post what the social left wants to see. Now, I am not a fan of that, by the way. I am not a fan of that. And the left on Twitter does need to be reined the F in 100%. But we can start to see here that they did do all that. Okay, so let's get past the other stuff here. The decision to banish Carano from the Disney Kingdom went higher than Mandalorian creator Jon Favreau and was made by Lucasfilm executives. Carano, sources say, had repeatedly been warned by those around her about her social media behavior, with the actress even noting publicly in September that her Mandalorian co-star Pedro Pascal, who has a trans sibling, educated her about the use of pronouns after a social media flare-up, saying she knew it was going to alarm people, says one person in her orbit. Why would you put Favreau in that position? Again, exactly. Why are you putting your bosses and your friends in the position like that? When you've been warned repeatedly? That's something to consider there. Now, Carano's ouster has a domino effect, with Hasbro ending production on its popular Cara Dune action figures. Amazon appears to have pulled most of its Cara Dune toy merch. When asked why, Amazon declined comment. Meanwhile, the Dune action figures are seeing brisk sales on eBay at prices well above there. Yeah. I went looking for a Cara Dune toys yesterday, to be honest with you. I was curious. Insiders say that Cara Dune wasn't part of the next Star Wars series up the Boba Fett spinoff, but expect that the character will be recast down the road for both story and merchandising reasons. For her part, Carano will be producing a film with Shapiro's Daily Wire, saying, "I'm sending out a direct message of hope to everyone living in fear of cancellation by the totalitarian mob. I've only just begun using my voice, which is now freer than ever before, and I hope it inspires others to do the same." Jesus Christ. Oh my God, guys, that's so ridiculous. Okay. That is, Richard, you have a point. The moral of the story is don't offend the Hollywood left. That is true. That is true. Let's see here. All right. Well, Don Cheadle. I like Don Cheadle as War Machine, by the way. So, no. However, okay, someone says here, Brie Larson. The Brie Larson situation is vastly different. Brie Larson actually, all she said was, she said something stupid, in my opinion. But what she was saying was, I don't care about what middle-aged white men think about this movie that is made for young black girls. And that's effectively what she said. She said it in a stupid way, though. And I agree. It's ridiculous. So anyway, there is, Gina doubling down on stupidity. I completely agree. Look, guys, this is the thing. This situation is unfortunate. I don't like it one bit, but it's not hard to tell that Gina got herself fired. At this point, we're getting all the inside information. She was warned repeatedly about it, warned to not do it, warned to stop, and she didn't stop. And now she's promo code Gina for 25% off Daily Wire. Wow. I don't know about you guys. I hope to one day coupon code Jarbo, 25% off your Hustler magazine subscription. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Gina will soon star in Christian movies with Kevin Sorbo. Yeah. She says she wasn't warned. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I don't believe that. She absolutely, look, you have to be dumb. You have to be dumb to not see this coming. You have to be dumb. And the continued posting that she did do, and everyone and all the flare up around it. You're telling me that Pedro and John and Dave didn't text her and go, shut the fuck up? Right? You're telling me that? Come on. That's ridiculous. I guarantee you. Cadenza here says, she's a grown woman. She knows better. I don't even feel sorry for her. I do. It's unfortunate. It's sad. It's unfortunate and it's sad. But that being said, guys, I have got to go. See to my children, make sure they're getting some dinner. And I did want to quickly leave a thanks since we got almost 200 of you in here. Look, I do a show called PODIO Commentary. The link is in the video description, where I take a look at film's histories. One of the most recent episodes is Cloverfield. If you want to know a podcast history of the American Kaiju film, as well as my most recent one, I believe was Fifth Element. That's in the video description. Really appreciate that. Also want to give a quick shout out to my channel members. Thank you guys for being awesome. Appreciate it. All of you, if you want to see your name on this board, you can do it. I don't know. It's fun. Whatever. And I will talk to you guys all later. Thank you again for coming on by. Remember, look, I feel bad for Gina. I don't want her to be in any trouble. I want her to come back. I hope there's a way for her to come back. But at this point, who knows? I'll see you, everyone. Have yourself a great day.